and I'm here as usual for what we usually do here on this day and at this time. Tonight it is a well-rounded package which opens with security. Yes, security holds sway as we educate you on that unique accessory, a symbol of keeping alive the memories of the nation's fallen heroes. Do you know that the first batch of COVID-19 vaccine from Nigeria is scheduled to arrive in a couple of weeks, a time frame within the federal government's persecution? So tonight we shall beam our satellites on the country's readiness for that. Have you heard of the law that criminalizes an individual for being poor and homeless? Well, surprised? Well, as inhuman as it may sound, it does exist, and tonight you would get to know how African continent is trying to shield Africans from it. Another version of the looming strike in Nigeria's ivory towers. We shall bring you the details. We also have stories around developmental processes, health, and tourism. Now, all these are not by any means all that we have. There is a lot more. So I tell you, if you miss it, you miss out. But be sure you are not told what we dish out on NewsExtra tonight. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Buba, and this is NewsExtra. You're welcome. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has expressed the need for stakeholders in the oil industry to find and agree on cheaper means of producing oil while ensuring a more competitive environment that meets the needs and purposes of the Nigerian nation, including the largest production volumes possible. This was at a virtual meeting on the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, with stakeholders in the industry under the auspices of the Oil Producers Trade Section OPTS in Nigeria and Independent Petroleum Producers Group. The meeting held as consultations ahead of the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill continue. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo noted that in line with the focus of the Buhari administration, there is need for stakeholders in the sector to agree on terms to create a more competitive environment while maximizing opportunities in the oil and gas industry. Vice President Osinbajo observed that the passage of the PIB should be seen as an opportunity to transform the industry by addressing lingering issues that have impeded development across the different sectors of the industry. The new PIB, which was presented to the National Assembly by President Muhammadu Buhari in September last year, has already passed the second reading in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. In a few days, Friday, January 15th to be precise, Nigerians will be marking the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Many of you are sporting the Remembrance Day emblem, like I am doing right now. But do you understand the significance of acquiring and wearing the emblem? Well, defense correspondent Naja Atitijani gives us an insight. Okay, I've been told that that reports that I just launched will be coming much later. So just be patient. Now, national security and peace may have come under serious threat from different disruptive elements in some parts of the country, exposing lives and property worth trillions of naira to devastating consequences, as well as massive relocation of victims to areas considered to be safer zones of interest. However, is the strong political will matched by consistent budgetary allocations and professional engagements of military personnel under the present administration is fast changing the narrative and restoring the desired atmosphere to start life afresh. Guest on NTA's Tuesday Live shared this view on the breakthroughs achieved in confronting the deadly groups. Abakar Usman Akwanga has the report.
Nigeria had shared fate with times and moments of mourning and losses of wealth, dashed away by continued attacks and killings either by Boko Haram insurgents, bandits or adopters that almost consumed the commercially viable northeast and other regions of the country.
For quite some time now, we can say there is surely an improvement in terms of securing lives and property, especially in the northeastern region, if you compare it to what has been happening previously.
some cases, they are being betrayed by the population because they give intelligent information about them to the terrorists, and that's why you have a lot of ambushes here and there when they go out for operations.
But the last 5 years has brought about positive changes and suiting relief that built bridges and restored hope across trouble zones. This was possible through supply of military hardwares and other logistics to completely sack terrorists and other criminal elements. Guests say recapturing all the areas initially under the control of terrorist group, rescuing captives and recovering sophisticated firearms are strong indication of military unshaken commitment to win the war against insurgency and banditry.
Traditional rulers have a very huge role to play because they are the rallying point of their people, and if they are seen to be preaching the support for the military, most of their people will do.
We're currently developing a revised national defense policy for the simple reason that some of the security challenges that we're being confronted with at the moment require a more advanced and more befitting national defense policy.
Many lives among the Nigerian gallant troops have gone down, and the passion of those in the battle line for victory still goes tough on the outlaws to permanently silence the sound of gunshots and reinstate the reign of peace. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And still talking issues of national security, the president has reiterated that every citizen has the right to freedom of speech and expression, own property and reside in any part of the country, and the right to move freely without any inhibitions, among others. This is contained in a reaction to the ultimatum by a Sokoto-based group asking Most Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka to tender unreserved apology over what they called malicious comments or leave the state. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who signed the statement, said it is the duty of the government, more so the democratic government, to ensure that the Constitution is respected. He cautioned that everyone must, however, respect the rights and sensitiveness of their fellow Nigerians. Garba Shehu urges groups and individuals not to unilaterally sanction any perceived breaches, but seek redress in courts for adjudication. Renewed efforts of a Nigerian military in the ongoing counterinsurgency operations with the support of members of the Civilian Joint Task Force, hunters and vigilantes, the people of Borno have continued to enjoy relative peace. An appreciable number of internally displaced persons in Maiduguri, the state capital, are voluntarily relocating to their ancestral homes. Maimuna Garba has the report.
The ongoing counter-insurgency war have continued to record tremendous successes in various locations across the theater, considering neutralization of scores of terrorists, with good number of them surrendering to the military, recovering of cache of arms and ammunition, as well as declaring communities safe for habitation hitherto under the occupation of the terrorists, among others.
We are now more encouraged and determined to push on. We want to bring this insurgency to an end this year.
Maiduguri is calm, very calm. In the last 1 year, there has been no significant security breach. Commerce is picking up, schools are functioning. I don't think these things will happen if the security situation is still, challenging.
Support by the federal government has also enabled the military to decimate the insurgents, as the remnants are currently being pursued to be cleared.
With the renewed vigor, determination by not only the army but even the president himself. The president has now made this issue or taken this matter very seriously. Right now there is heavy deployment of troops.
With the relative peace being enjoyed and farmers have since returned to their farming activities, the Agro Rangers initiative by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps have continued to provide security cover across farmlands, in addition to checking the surge of other forms of criminalities in the land.
Also had this incidence of pre-registered SIM cards, which we went on raids and were able to arrest so many. Most of these pre-registered SIM cards were used by kidnappers.
Aside efforts of the members of the civilian JTF and vigilantes in supporting the military, members of the community are also not relenting in ensuring they assist in stemming the tide of any security threat in Borno.
Meanwhile, as the country continues to win the war against all forms of criminalities, key players in the security business are promising better collaboration to rid Ebonyi State of communal clashes and cultism, which have been a major challenge in the area. Ijoma John tells us more.
One of the core mandates of any responsive administration is the security of lives and properties of our citizenry. This explains why Ebonyi State government, among other issues, prioritized the security of the people in line with the goals of the Buhari-led administration. Commissioner of Police, Ebonyi State Command, Mr. Phillips Mako, said government support and the cordial relationship that exists between the people and security agencies contribute in making their job easier.
The major security threat in Ebonyi is this communal clashes and boundary disputes, and then cultism. In the aspect of the cultism, the community policy program, we have launched it in Ebonyi so that they will work in collaboration with the security agency, with the police, and it's working.
The Commissioner for Peace and Internal Security, Stanley Okoro, said, aside other peace mechanisms being explored by the government, engagement of traditional and religious leaders as partners in the business of security of the state is yielding positive results.
We are doing everything, including very prepared to give a bonus to whosoever that can identify somebody and say this one is also a court member. And the governor has placed some money for them. Repent, leave that way, and then come and have some grant. Queue in a business. Communal crisis, we are resolving. We have also engaged the Christian Association of Nigeria. They are helping us in settling a lot of disputes in the various areas.
Some of the residents share their views on the security of the state.
Security has been very, very tight. Everywhere is just okay. At least we sleep without anybody harassing us in the night.
Although Ebonyi State is relatively peaceful, security agencies have sworn to be more committed in protecting the environment. In Abakaliki, Ijoma John, NTA News.
In another development, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Doli has dealt another blow on Boko Haram terrorists operating in the northeast of the country with the destruction of no fewer than 3 gun trucks and neutralization of several insurgents at Mainok in Borno State. Coordinator, Directorate of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche says the air operation was executed on 12th January 2021, sequel to intelligence reports indicating that the BHTs in several gun trucks were transversing the Jakana-Mainok axis of the state. NAF helicopter gunships engaged the convoy of BHT gun trucks and logistics vehicles, resulting in the destruction of 3 of the BHT vehicles, some of which were seen engulfed in flames. Several of the terrorists were also eliminated in the process. I'll take you to Lagos. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command, has arrested suspected hard drug peddlers for an alleged imposition of cocaine weighing 13 kg. Commander of the agency, Ahmadu Garba, said one of the offenders had in 2014 jumped bail for a related offense. Abolade Salami reports.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency's renewed strategies to curb trafficking of hard drugs into and out of the country is paying off as the agency has continuously arrested offenders. The agency, in its various operations at the airport in the last few days, led to the arrest of 3 suspects in possession of cocaine weighing 13 kilograms, 7.8 kilograms, and 117 grams, concealed in packed shirts and embroidery tailoring material.
Yes, almost done.
We made another seizure of about 117 grams of cocaine destined for India. Somebody wrapped it inside polythene bags and put it inside cream. And he wanted to beat our boys, but I think they were doing on top of their game and they were able to arrest.
With the availability of needed equipment and collaboration between local and foreign partners, the arrests were made.
He personally told me to check that nothing is inside the bag. So I believe him because I was in a hurry. I didn't have time to check it, so I took the bag and go back.
Meanwhile, the command in the year 2020 made a seizure of 3,413.463 kilograms of hard drugs, including cocaine, methamphetamine, cannabis sativa, as well as psychotropic substances, with 60 suspects arrested and 44 convicted. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
In the meantime, one case was struck out and 7 others adjourned for further hearing of the Lagos State Judicial Panel on restitution for victims of SARS and other related matters. Jennifer Igwe reports that more petitioners presented alleged human rights violations against the police.
The case of Ishola Adewusi and 19 others against SARS was struck out because the petition has been overtaken by series of events. However, in the case of Tomori Emmanuel, is the reason why the 42-year-old father of 2 is seeking justice and compensation. Tomori, a creative director, shared his predicament after a stray bullet from an allegedly drunk policeman hit him in 2011 at Dokpemu area of Lagos. He said the bullet destroyed the artery of his hand, and in the course of treatment, he lost the tendon that controls his fingers. Tomori told the panel that he has spent about 5 million naira for medical procedures and needs 2 more for his hand to function again. Counsel to the petitioner told the panel that a 2015 judgment by the Federal High Court, Ikoyi, already exists for the police to pay compensation to the petitioner. Till date, this judgment is yet to be complied with.
To me, the panel is kind of like a beacon of hope to police brutality.
Like Tomori, 7 others at this hearing have cases of alleged torture and havoc they claim to have suffered in the hands and guns of police officers. With more than 200 petitions on its table and roughly 4 months to go, the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry has a huge task of ensuring people like Emmanuel Tomori and other petitioners get needed justice. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
Now, very soon, Nigeria will receive the COVID-19 vaccines that is expected to help contain and curtail the coronavirus in the country. On this report, Adebala Brooks-Linstani takes a look at possible challenges associated with the process.
The development of some COVID-19 vaccines by scientists shows that there is indeed a solution around the corner. Unlike the common flu vaccine, each of these COVID-19 vaccines, Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna, and Oxford AstraZeneca, poses similar and unique challenges in terms of procurement, distribution, administration, and management.
I urge all governments to work together and live up to their commitments to equitable distribution globally, and all pharmaceutical groups to boost supply as quickly as possible and to fully participate in COVAX.
In order not to be left behind, Nigeria has joined other countries of the world that are acquiring the vaccines. acceptance and the network for distribution, experts say, have become the talking points across the country.
Yes, I believe in a vaccine. I've taken vaccines before, but for the COVID, there are a lot of misconceptions and issues that we have been hearing of. So if I'm to be given a vaccine for now, I would think twice. I need to have a prevention under a prevention.
The outbreak of polio, I was not there. I just grew up to meet the campaign.
For the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, special storage facilities appears to be a major challenge which the federal government is capable of surmounting.
Also having bilateral discussions, talking with manufacturers. Some of them have written to us, want to have talks with us, because if we cannot get enough from one source, we should be able to get from other sources.
We have strong confidence that we should be able to be vaccinating in February in these countries, and we're doing everything possible to make sure in as many countries as possible, but we cannot do that on our own.
Records show that there are currently more than 200 additional vaccine candidates in clinical and preclinical development stages. The next stage now is having a number of them in phase 3 clinical trials, which is the final step before a vaccine is approved. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Thank you, Adebola. Up ahead on NewsExtra, correspondent feels the pulse of beneficiaries of the Special Public Work 774 as project gets in motion and the development on the Second Niger Bridge and other federal government road projects that should interest you. Stay with us.
JJ has always been my father's hero. So this year, I wanted to do something really special. If I could just talk to JJ, I'm sure he would remember Dad. Mom says never give up. Hello JJ, it's me Victor. My dad's birthday is coming up soon and I want to surprise him. And she was right. I have been looking for you everywhere. Please help me.
Hi Samuel, happy birthday, it's JJ. Happy birthday to my man.
My dad is my hero, but now JJ is too.
Glow, the best data plans in town. Find your first. Dial *777#. Glow.
Customer, see your tomatoes. May I add pepper joint?
Yes, I beg. Add. This your cough self don dey pass the careful.
Take it easy with that now. But customer, this your cough, Make you try enter hospital now.
No, you sef know say no be correct time be this. They go just talk say I get COVID-19.
Customer, all cough no be the same o. This one fit be tuberculosis now.
Aunty, na true talk o. Check am o, make you dey sure.
Because who no go, no go know.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
Check am o, make you dey sure.
If cough don't worry you pass 2 weeks, it fit be tuberculosis. TB test and treatment na free. Yes, so just call the National TB Hotline for 3340 to get better information of where you fit do the test. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Health with support from American people there.
Dear customer, link your Airtel number to your national identification number today. Here are easy ways you can do it. Dial *121*1# on your Airtel line and follow the prompts on the screen. Type in your 11-digit government-approved NIN number. You will receive a confirmation message to confirm your entry. You can also visit www.airtel.com.ng/NIN to link your phone number to your NIN. If you do not know your NIN, simply dial *346# to get it. No stress, no wahala.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Disinfect
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white cloths, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it. Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white cloths, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Imagine the joy that fills your heart when you have just given birth. Whatever your size, we got you.
Follow the grandmother. Mama, what baby?
With our Buy Right chat, you can get the best mattress that goes with your body weight. Don't just buy a mattress, buy a Vitafoam mattress.
The name of the baby is Stella.
Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
See how much it now looks better. Golden pennies and movita. New look, the same great taste. Golden pennies and movita.
New look, same great taste with natural ingredients. Contains proteins that help maintain a balanced diet.
New look, same great taste.
Golden Penny Semovita, your soul food. Human resource.
After dropping 2 points from a winning position last week, Wolverhampton Wanderers will be excited to welcome struggling West Bromwich Albion to the Molineux Stadium. Will West Brom prove an easy 3 points? Find out as Wolverhampton Wanderers take on West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. this Saturday. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
It is always good having you back on NewsExtra. Motorists and commuters in Anambra State have commended the Buhari-led administration for the ongoing projects in the state, despite the economic situation of the country. Uchenna Nwekoyo captured their views for NTA News.
Traveling from Onitsha to Awka that used to take more than 2 hours due to bad road is now less than 30 minutes, thanks to the Buhari administration that embarked on the rehabilitation of the Onitsha-Enugu Expressway that was abandoned for many years. Christian Ilora, a truck driver, is one of those excited by this development. He said he is surprised that despite the economic situation of the country, work is still going on the road.
From here now to Awka, it's not even up to 20 minutes, so we are very happy. I'm mostly myself, because all the gallop, swallowing my motor and everything, all of them has stopped.
Christian and other road users are optimistic that if the road is completed to Enugu and the second Niger bridge also delivered as promised by the present administration, Southeast would have gotten a fair share of democratic dividends.
Buhari himself, I know he's a good man. Now we have road, but before there is none.
We thank God for everything, because before truck following here almost every time. The president is trying. She's trying, because before the road is very, very bad.
They should do at least this other lane. After completion of this lane, this other lane should be completed.
Almost one lane of the Onitsha-Enugu Expressway has been completed to Awka, even as work is going on aggressively on the second Niger Bridge. From Onitsha, Uche Nangwekoyo, NTA News.
And from Onitsha, we head to Jigawa, where the federal government has constructed over 400-kilometer length of rural access roads across the rural communities of the country, with a view to facilitating the movement of agricultural produce nationwide. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Sabo Nonono, is on an inspection tour of these projects, and Jigawa State is one of the states he has visited. Masur Aliu Hassan has the details of the visit.
The 3-kilometer length Masaya to Kuda Ashford Rural Access Road in Birnin Kud local government area is among the many interventions of the present administration to people at the grassroots. The project, which is awarded and being supervised by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, is cited here to ease the hardship being experienced in transporting agricultural produce out of these communities. Being among the largest producers of various commodities in Jigawa State, the government deems it necessary to come to their aid with a view to have a seamless farming and commercial process.
Abinda muke so wannan hanya za ta yi mana taimako yadda ya kamata domin za a fito da amfani, kuma wannan akwai kasuwa babba wacce take a nan dai ba irinta. A lokal gaba daya ba irinta.
Hanyar nan ta yi mugun lalacewa sosai ma kuwa. Wallahi saboda wataran abun hawa ma rasa shi ake yi a hanyar nan.
While inspecting the project, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Sabo Nonono said these projects are initiated to fast-track the present administration's policy of ensuring food sufficiency and discouraging rural-urban migration. Nonono also announced that additional 400-kilometer length road network will be constructed this year.
Apart from that, there are also rural roads that will be constructed by the government in other areas not covered by this arrangement with other private sector fast pay. So that
the Jigawa State government is equally complementing in this direction, as more than 1,550 kilometers of roads were constructed across the state. One of such routes is this recently commissioned Gambiza Modobi Dutse Road.
My thanks goes to my predecessors because their contribution in the road building has been enormous, and we have seen from them and continue from what they left, and we have done wonderfully well with the special grace of Allah.
The Modobi Gambara Waza communities benefiting from this route are the major producers of watermelon and rice in commercial quantity in Jigawa State. Mansur Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
The federal government is projecting 16 round trips daily for passenger services on the Lagos-Ibadan rail line, with the provision of 9 additional locomotives for freight operations across the country. The goal is to ease mobility and support the Nigerian economy with timely deliveries of cargoes. Michael Olale in this report analyzes the gains of the rail subsector holds for 2021.
The blaring sound of the locomotives set in motion the relentless effort to connect every nook and cranny of the country to the rail network. And despite the slowing down of construction work at the train stations due to the coronavirus pandemic, the near 100% successes recorded along the Lagos-Ibadan corridor has paved way for the commencement of commercial services on the standard gauge. It is a feat the federal government has promised to back up with increase in the number of daily trips and reduction in travel time.
We hope to run 8 down and 8 up by the time we come up fully after the commissioning. And we go gradually. We move to 4 a day. The same thing we are targeting Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna. Eventually we'll end up with 14 round trips. We will start down very soon. So also in the Itakbe Warri, we are just doing 1 up, 1 down, and we are planning 1 will take off from Warri and 1 will take off from Itakbe every day.
We reduce our speed within Lagos and then increase our speed a bit outside Lagos until we are sure
we can increase the speed or the line. And by then, definitely, I tell you, we'll be talking of, say, an hour and a half or thereabout.
Decongesting the trade corridor in Apapa is key in the rail revolution, and this commitment was demonstrated with the commencement of freight services, although on the narrow gauge, with the laying of tracks on the standard gauge gradually getting into the ports. The dream is near fruition.
It must be general because we've already gone public. What is critical is that we must find a solution to the gridlock. The moment we begin to move cargoes from the seaport to at least Ibadan, then the pressure on Lagos will reduce drastically.
While strategizing towards re-energizing trade and investment at the domestic level, the federal government's quest for regional gains informed award of contracts for the construction of the 284-kilometer Kano-Maradi project in 2020, and work is expected to start in February 2021.
Kano to Maradi is just a continuation of Lagos to Kano. There is a lot of shipping arrangements that take place in Maradi. So if you see that there's a catchment area where both the port will earn money because we will not ship their goods through the Nigerian port, it's a source of revenue, and we also have additional load to carry for them. We will charge normal.
The Rail Revolution initiative of the federal government is not just bringing back the good old days, but repositioning the transport sector to deliver huge investment returns to participants, and 2021 is therefore the year for harvests. In Lagos, Michael Walale, NTA News.
Development of the Niger Delta region is not negotiable, but to sustain the developments, there is need for all leaders to be accountable and transparent in delivering the expected gains to the region. This featured prominently during a meeting between the interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Effiong Akwa, and the Ijaw leader, Edwin Clark, in Abuja. Joseph Jensen reports.
A small gathering of the Niger Deltans. The Kool-Aid, a friendly visit from a son to a father. But the conversation here concerns the larger spectrum of the region. Completion of the East-West Road, environmental degradation, corruption issues and jobs creation for the youth were all deliberated upon, with assurances of better days ahead.
Niger Deltans have lost their homes, have lost their properties, have lost their farming, have lost their equipment and so on. So we couldn't intervene. I said, how could we have done it without a budget? So now we have a budget, we can attend to our people because we have issues. The youth of the Niger Deltas, there are many that are not gainfully employed. We need training for our youth. We have identified that. We have identified issues that has to do with flooding. We don't have roads in the Niger Delta.
The elder statesman and Ijaw leader Edwin Clark gave some words of advice to the team.
We believe in your appointment. We have support your appointment. You are a Niger Delta person. There's nothing to show very much. In the Niger Delta, compared with the length of time, and it has been in operation. What happened to the money?
While they chew on the words of wisdom from the father, the hope here is that the region will change from the underdevelopment narrative sooner than later. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
And all is now set for the inauguration of the state-of-the-art 13th floor new permanent headquarters of the Niger Delta Development Commission in Port Harcourt. The interim administrator of the commission, Effiong Akwa, says a committee has been set up to put modalities in place towards having President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurate the edifice. Osinachi Abraham reports.
The NDDC headquarters complex, which had suffered setback by previous administrations, has now been completed and ready for inauguration. The completion of the edifice is no doubt a clear demonstration of President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment and political will towards the development of the region. Preparatory to inaugurating the edifice, a committee has been set up to ensure modalities are in place for the big day, with other committees on reform and projects constituted.
We are ready for the project commissioning of this head office. Specifically, we want to invite the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria to visit the South region, the Niger Delta, at a date that will be convenient to Mr. President.
According to the NDDC boss, the project committee is expected to visit the 9 NDDC states to inspect the level of work done on the rural projects and get them ready for handover, while the reforms will propose new ideas to fast-tracking excellent service delivery.
Today, history has been made. By inaugurating this committee, you are saddled with the responsibility of identifying all completed projects and getting them ready for commissioning so as to enable the commission hand them over to the benefiting communities. If you continue to do the things you were doing in the manner you used to do, you cannot have a different result. It is only when you have decided to do things in a different way that you can have a different and impressive result. It is for this reason that we have inaugurated the NDDC Reforms Committee.
The committees are expected to deliver on their mandates within a period of 30 days. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
And the federal government's extended special public works project has continued to receive accolade by Nigerians. I guess you already know why it is so, and if you don't know, it is aimed at addressing issues of youth restiveness and unemployment at the grassroots. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim examines the prospect of the project, which is expected to engage 774,000 youths from the 774 local government areas of the Federation, including the FCT.
Research shows that youth constitute more than 60% of the nation's population, with skilled and unskilled vocation and willing to contribute their quota to nation building given the opportunity. 29-year-old Hannatu is a mother of 4 and unskilled, while Muhammad is physically challenged. Both are among the enrollees in the extended special public works under the Abuja Municipal Area Council.
House jobs was on my husband, but when I got this job, I was very happy.
Over the years, the government had come up with many incentives to not only empower but maximize the potential of citizens. One of such is the special public works, where the most vulnerable members of the community, to be specific, 1,000 skilled and unskilled men and women selected from the 774 local government areas of the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, are provided with tools and given monthly stipend to take care of public infrastructure.
This is the government of the people at the common, at the grassroots. And they know those who are really vulnerable. They really know those who really need this assistance.
At the end of the program, we expect that most of them will have learned something, picked up something to take care of themselves and get self-employed.
And it will interest you to know that this comes with no formal qualification.
Because some people are sitting at home, they are saying this is a scam. It is not scam. We are here to testify.
Employment generation is one of the cardinal objectives of the current administration. And the 774, like it's popularly called, is one of the strides. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
A very encouraging one, as I must say. Inmates in correctional centers across the country have been given a slate to finish their terms as master cobblers. This is the expected fruit of a partnership between the Nigeria Correctional Service and a private entity. Abdullahi Mohammed has that.
Correctional centers across Nigeria have thousands of citizens serving terms. They are expected to come out reformed and productive. The passage and signing into law of the Nigeria Correctional Service Act has given the Controller General of Corrections the license to put into motion initiatives that will make complete reformation of inmates a reality. The signing of the dotted lines here gives room for the maximum utilization of its shoe factory in Aba, custodial center, and leather factory in Kano.
This thinking became very necessary, and the minister was so much interested in ensuring that we reform these inmates that are given the custody. So by the time we are returning them back to the society, they are law-abiding. They are not only law-abiding citizens, but they are also contributing their own quota to the economic development of this country.
This development, the controller says, is just the beginning of many more initiatives that will follow. In Abuja, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
And we'll head to Ebonyi State, where the Ebonyi State government is seeking partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority towards the actualization and delivery of people-oriented projects in other states. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that this came to the fore during the visit of Ebonyi State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Uchenna Oji's visit on the management of the Nigerian Television Authority.
The government of Ebonyi State is determined to complete all its ongoing projects and earmark new ones across rural and urban areas, and requires the support of NTA in projecting its giant strides. This is in addition to its numerous agricultural programs aimed at engaging youth and diversifying families' income in the state.
We thank you for showcasing Ebonyi State to the world. Today, as I speak with you, investors are trooping to Ebonyi State. And I want to use this opportunity to also ask you to help us to let the whole world know that we are ready for investors to come.
Director General NTA Kubo Muhammad appreciated the visit and restates the organization's commitment to provide equal platform for all Nigerians to promote state and national interests.
We in NTA, as a public broadcaster, we are set up, to partner with all well-meaning individuals, organizations, and institutions that have the advancement of the cause of this country as their major objective, and this applies to Ebonyi State.
He commended Ebonyi State government for looking inward in developing economy of the state. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the President of the Senate, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, on his 62nd birthday. The President, in a statement, cherished the maturity and purposeful leadership Senator Lawan has brought to the upper chamber, handling every issue with years of experience and wisdom. He noted with commendation Dr. Lawan's steady progress on the ladder of leadership, which he says shows his empathy, tenacity, and focus on improving the lives of Nigerians. The President affirmed that the cordial relationship between the executive and legislature has fostered faster and better results in the development of the country. He wishes the lawmaker longer life to keep serving the country and humanity. Now, how are health facilities coping with other ailments outside COVID-19? This and a very good reminder on why you must take care of your kidney. Our health stories are a must-watch, but that would be after we come back from this next break we are about to take.
My honeycomb, my flavored chocolate, a yakba for you now.
I'm coming.
Come, let me spoil you. Look, this is not boil or abscess. Now money.
Guys, I beg, I wanna show for King's Lounge right now. Babes, yakpa for you.
Find your first. Get a Glow Special Data Plan. Dial
*777# Glow.
No one sees what this journey took from him, how far he pushed his mind and his body, how many times he broke down and needed support. But success lies on the other end of pain. As Naija mama where I be, my son no fit carry last. So when pain comes knocking, we look back at it without fear and say, not today.
For aches, pains, and fever, trust Emzor paracetamol.
In my house, we may look alike, but we are very different individuals. My adorable twins, they look so alike, but they don't like wearing the same things. And my little man, he loves to learn his own way because doing things his way is more fulfilling. Everybody believes their way is best. That's why Golden Penny Pasta is our favorite meal. It allows me to satisfy everybody just the way they want it.
Golden Penny Pasta, made with pure wheat, is tasty, nutritious, a source of protein and fiber. Golden Penny Pasta, your way is best.
For over 70 years, we've practiced healthy hygiene habits together. The world needs us to keep our fight going against germs. So let's wash our hands for 20 seconds regularly. Dettol. Protect what's worth fighting for.
After dropping 2 points from a winning position last week, Wolverhampton Wanderers will be excited to welcome struggling West Bromwich Albion to the Molineux Stadium. Will West Brom prove an easy 3 points? Find out as Wolverhampton Wanderers take on West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. this Saturday. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Goal.com.
You're welcome back. As Nigeria and other African countries make history with the common trade bloc in Africa, how prepared are local manufacturers to key into the initiative? Well, Chimobi Walter Naji is right here with me to provide answers on business news. You're welcome on stage, so take over.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Yes, indeed, Nigerian manufacturers are ready. But just before we talk about that, the federal government of Nigeria has disbursed another round of performance-based grants to states in the sum of 123.348 billion naira. The state's fiscal transparency, accountability and sustainability program for results. In a statement signed by the Director of Press to the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mr. Hassan Dedo, Mrs. Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, the minister, explained that the disbursement followed the achievement of results by the states in the just concluded 2019 annual performance assessment. The assessment was carried out by the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation as the independent verification agent and approved by the Program Coordination Unit of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. And to other stories, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is generating mixed feelings among some manufacturers. For a former chairman of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, covering Anambra, Enugu and Ebonyi states, and some others, while the opportunity to trade freely with 53 other African countries is appealing and welcomed, complementary sectors of the economy like power have to be fixed for Nigerian businesses to compete favorably with their counterparts in the other big economies of Africa. They believe once this is tackled, there will be exciting times ahead for Nigerian business owners, which will trickle down to the consumers.
We have some strong African economies. You talk of Nigeria, you talk of Morocco, you talk of Egypt, you talk of South Africa and Kenya. They are all advanced producing countries. Good in the sense that it will expose us to the entire 54 African countries. in that aspect is a very good development. Then we have opportunity to send our goods here and there to those African countries that are involved.
Now, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is all African countries but Eritrea on board, with operations formally commencing on January 1st. Meanwhile, the winning streak experienced in the Nigerian Stock Exchange is still leading the market performance, as trading closed today on a positive note, with the all-share index inching up by 0.11% at 40,341.05 basis points. 5,697 deals were traded on the floor of the exchange, valued at 6.9 billion naira. Zenith Bank led the top traded stocks, with total trade volume valued at 1.1 trillion naira, ahead of Lasaco, UBA and Japol Gold. All right, and that's the business news. Let's now join Fatima for the rest of the news. Fatima, it's over to you.
Thank you so much for the business bit. And now from business, let's talk health. On one of the attendant consequences of the coronavirus pandemic is its overstretching of the healthcare sector, with the second wave now being experienced. Health correspondent Hakimat Aliu takes a look at the accessibility of health services for other ailments outside COVID-19. Over to you, Hakimat Aliu.
The world's attention, no doubt, is still being focused on combating the coronavirus pandemic, and this time faced with a second wave which comes with deadlier variants. This, however, does not negate the fact that there are other health concerns that need to be addressed, just like the array of patients waiting in this facility. Patients seeking medical attention for different health concerns.
It's actually alarming, but we can't keep our sick ones at home. You know, we have to still take the risk to bring them out.
Bring one of my brother here. So he don't have blood. They say that he donates blood in his body, about 5 blood.
I put to bed here, but it was because of the stress I went through. The baby did not cry. And because of that, they took him to the oxygen.
There are washing hand basins out there for you to wash your hands when you are coming in or when you are going out.
To all these respondents, it is heartwarming that the health workers are on ground and the hospitals are running fine with necessary modifications.
We still maintain our services to patients who are non-COVID. The second wave is really hitting, and we see quite a lot of patients with symptoms suggestive of COVID, for which we have a holding area where we keep such patients.
In this new wave of the infection, FCT in less than a week records over 1,000 cases. However, the administration is doing all it takes to ensure access to healthcare is not denied.
Unlike when it came for the first time, where we converted our hospitals to treatment centers. Now, all the hospitals we earlier converted to treatment centers, COVID treatment centers, have been reconverted to normal hospital services. So all our patients, all the other ailments outside COVID-19 are having enough facilities and personnel to manage them.
While the FCT administration is doing its best to ensure accessible health care for all, residents are expected to take personal responsibility by adhering to the COVID-19 protocols to win the fight against the virus. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
Rampant cases of kidney disease in northern part of Yobe State have continued to pose serious health risk and challenges to many residents, particularly to poor families who cannot afford the exorbitant medical bills required for its treatment. To this end, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, is engaging services of medical experts to investigate the causes of the disorder in the 5 endemic council areas. Yunus Suleiman has the report.
Over the years, the residents of Guru, Karaswa, Keshwe and Jakuska local government areas in northern Yobe have been experiencing cases of kidney failure, leading to the death of hundreds and impoverishing many families due to high cost of medical treatment. The prevalence of kidney disease in the areas has been largely traced to possible contamination of water sources due to large-scale use of agrochemicals to improve agricultural production and pollutants from other sources upstream and within the wetlands area. Records from the Federal Medical Center GRU near the community showed that 40% of the patients admitted suffer from chronic kidney disease and 70% were from Gashua, GRU, Jakusko, and some communities in neighboring Jigawa State. Despite findings establishing cause and effect relationship, required an in-depth investigation of hydrological, environmental, ecological and socio-economic changes occurring in the wetlands area. Worried by the menace, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, had, during a visit to the Federal Medical Center GRU, promised to work together with relevant health agencies to form a coalition of health expertise for the purpose of in-depth study and investigation into the actual causes of kidney disease in that particular area.
We are going to have and form a coalition to find out the reason or reasons why this disease has become so rampant here.
This is indeed a welcome news to the people in these areas and the state in general, as people are suffering in managing the disease, leading to the state government to offer free medical services to persons affected by the kidney disease in the state. Finding a lasting and sustainable solution to the endemic of kidney failure is what people in the affected areas are always hoping and praying for. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
More than 300 amputees resident in Niger State are to benefit from free artificial limbs provided by the State Ministry of Health with support from Rise Foundation, a pet project of the governor's wife. The gesture, which is in phases, seeks to enhance the functioning and lifestyle of persons with limb loss. Rokkang Dimka concludes the report.
The collaboration between the Niger State government through the State Ministry of Health, Race Foundation and Ishak Limb Center has paved the way for amputees to be treated and examined in preparation for artificial limbs, which will be made to meet the exact specifications of the patients and be delivered in the course of the year. The beneficiaries are first examined, the affected limbs measured and dressed in preparation for when they will be contacted by the hospital when the artificial limbs arrive.
I am happy about this treatment that is to be done for us. I am grateful to the government.
In short, they have already seen my name. I'm number 21. They say I have to go down.
The program is a deliberate attempt by the state government to enhance the functioning and lifestyle of persons with limb loss.
Each limb goes for at least 300,000 naira. The only mode of selection is that you should fit into the criteria, meaning that at least one of the limb is amputated.
Chief Executive Officer of Race Foundation, the pet project of the governor's wife, Proin Daudu, says their level of involvement is majorly that of logistics and ensuring there is a system to track down beneficiaries with a follow-up model.
At Race Foundation, all our interventions are based on enhancing government efforts. So we always look at avenues at assisting the vulnerable.
The technical know-how of the collaboration is to be handled by personnel from the Ishak Tolerant Foundation in Mina. Rotkhan Dimka, NTA News.
In another development, the federal government has commenced the disbursement of 20,000 cash grant to rural women in Katsina State to cushion the effect of COVID-19. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, flagged off the distribution exercise targeting 6,800 beneficiaries from the 3 senatorial zones of the state. Our Haliru has the details.
The cash grant scheme is one of the social intervention programs of the federal government to
to reduce poverty and make life better for the people, especially the most vulnerable rural women. 20,000 naira was given to each of the beneficiaries who were identified from across the 30 senatorial districts of Katsina State.
The money will aid my business and even engage in some others.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, who was in Katsina for the distribution of the grant to the vulnerable rural women, said the scheme was part of the social intervention programs to cushion the effect of COVID-19 pandemic, especially among the target beneficiaries.
20,000 naira will go a long way in supporting any woman that is serious to have a business or to start a business with. We know that people can even start a business with 1,000 naira. What is most important is how you judiciously use it and the blessings in it.
Use the money judiciously, to invest it well, so that by the year coming, inshallah, all of them will have come out of poverty.
In Katsina State, no fewer than 6,800 vulnerable rural women are expected to benefit from the scheme. In Katsina, Awal Hallaru, NTA News.
And for a disaster like the recent Kubo furniture fire that gutted billions of naira worth of goods and property, leaving the traders stranded and traumatized, what would have been the situation if the goods and property were insured? Abdullahi Ajia, who has been following developments across the recent fire incident, finds an answer from an insurance expert on the issue.
The Kubo furniture market, which lies on the fringe of Abuja, is one furniture market hub that has existed for 25 years now. A place government created for the traders to address roadside trading.
Some of these artisans used to milk around the road corridor coming to the city center. AMAC thought it wise to provide a space for them so that they cannot just be on the road causing hold up.
With expectations still high for the traders here to what becomes of them at the end of the day, one important lesson as a fallout is what insurance experts are saying, that there is the need for Nigerians and particularly business owners to begin to embrace the culture of insurance so as to be a fallback in situations and eventualities such as this.
Insurance actually lifts you from that heaviness when it comes. We'll have a lot of packages for you which can cover your household, your commercial dwellings, or your private dwellings.
For a market that deals mostly on inflammables and combustibles, expert advised a better structure be put in place to avert future occurrence. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
The culture and tourism sector is one of the world's greatest markets. That was until the coronavirus reared its ugly head. With the pandemic, the industry embraced the new normal of virtual museums, seminars, and drive-in festivals. Oyena Kalu Oka in this special report takes us down memory lane of how this played out in Nigeria.
2020 was not a pleasant experience for the tourism and culture industry in Nigeria. As the industry was planning activities to kickstart the year, boom came the pandemic with lockdown, social distancing, and other protocols. The culture and tourism sector was greatly hit. In Nigeria, festivals, carnivals were cancelled, visits to sites stopped, airports and hotels shut down, leading to massive loss of revenue and employment.
The effect has actually been very, very severe on our sector.
According to ProShare Economy, travel into Nigeria reduced by 3.5 million, resulting into a revenue loss of about $0.7 billion, with the risks of thousands of jobs lost.
Around June or so, Nigeria was losing over 320 billion from tourism.
To cushion the effect of the pandemic on the industry, federal government intervened with the inauguration of the post-COVID-19 initiatives.
Whatever is the product of this committee will be the fruit will be enjoyed by the entire industry.
Even though the culture and tourism industry was not prepared for COVID-19, it has learned some lessons, one of which is fully embracing the digital world.
The marketing of everything that is good
about Nigeria can only be done properly on a digital media.
At the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, which is virtual museums, where anyone from any part of the country can participate.
We don't need to wait for visitors to come to the museum for us to showcase our, collections and to entertain our visitors.
The return of the country's 600 years old Ife terracotta head from Netherlands was said to be a remarkable achievement in 2020.
We have also received 2 Benin bronzes, also from the United Kingdom, from private collections, that was quietly brought to the country.
To keep activities moving and showcasing the country's potential, the National Council for Arts and Culture came up with a drive-in event to host the 13th edition of the International Arts and Craft Expo with about 26 countries, 15 states, and the FCT participating.
The drive-in concept is that you drive your car to the venue. You don't come down from your car. You are not in touch with anybody. Nobody is afraid of COVID there. You on your AC. All we do is to communicate to you a radio channel that will come straight into your car radio. Then you'll be listening to everything on the stage right inside your car.
Nigeria's iconic cultural diversity was on display in Jos Plateau State in full compliance with COVID-19 protocols with the 13th edition of NIFED.
It's very good that even though with COVID we can be here respecting all the protocols and enjoying a great night.
In 2021, the industry is set to reimagine and reform with the new normal. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
How do you reconcile being criminalized for being poor and homeless? Find out about the law that stands for that after this breather.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youth, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
Dropping 2 points from a winning position last week, Wolverhampton Wanderers will be excited to welcome struggling West Bromwich Albion to the Molineux Stadium. Will West Brom prove an easy 3 points? Find out as Wolverhampton Wanderers take on West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. this Saturday. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for staying. The ECOWAS Parliament Ordinary Session of 2020, holding this January, opened with members of Parliament resolved to uphold the fundamental objectives of the Parliament despite the constraints imposed by the coronavirus pandemic. Onenge Fine Faith reports that considerations of the ECOWAS Commission consolidated budget for the year 2021 is top on the agenda of the week-long virtual session.
Proceedings for the ECOWAS Parliament Ordinary Session commenced with the administration of oath on new members of Parliament from Guinea and Liberia. Speaker Sidi Mohammed Tunis reflected on the challenges of the past year due to COVID-19 and the determination of Parliament to continue to promote the peace, security and progress of the ECOWAS region.
This session, otherwise known as the budget session, provides an opportunity in the provisions of the Supplementary Act for Parliament to consider the community's budget. Specifically, the Parliament is expected to ensure that the estimates are directed towards programs that address our people. Let us be reminded in our consideration of the budget that we are now responding to the worst global pandemic in a century. We live in an era of great uncertainty and increasing risk. Overcoming these challenges in the interest of our fellow citizens should be our major priority.
President ECOWAS Community Court of Justice Edward Asante drew attention of Parliament to contemporary needs of the court for effective service to the region. The ECOWAS Community Budget for 2021 will be presented to plenary for deliberation and adoption in the course of the session. Reports from standing and ad hoc committees will also be considered by plenary. Members deliberated on strategies to implement community levy as crucial element of budget performance. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
Laws which criminalize the status of individuals as being poor and homeless as opposed to specific reprehensible acts are referred to as vagrancy laws. The application of these laws are, however, incompatible with the rights granted in national, regional and international instruments. The Africa Courts on Human and People's Rights recently held that vagrancy laws violate the rights of African people and call for amendment to conform to realities of human rights. Correspondent Austin Ayebe examines the application of these laws amid its violations in Nigeria.
Vagrancy Act of 1824, a received English law, has long been repealed in England in line with today's realities. But the Nigerian criminal justice system is beset with challenges in her judicial system. This is because the criminal code and laws enacted by the state legislatures and other regulations still harbor vagrancy laws and criminalizes petty offences in environmental and traffic laws, notwithstanding the adverse effect on citizens and criminal justice system.
The Minor Offences Miscellaneous Provisions Act was enacted to prohibit any law from enforcing the provisions of the vagrancy law. But the truth really is that the police and other law enforcement operatives continue to enforce the vagrancy law that has been repealed.
Statistics indicate that many African countries still abuse the vagrancy law as security operatives still arrest and detain.
We have joined the call, we are raising awareness, we are saying that this kind of petty offenses should be expunged from our law books so that we don't keep on overflooding the custodial centers.
The purpose for abolishing those vagrancy laws is because it was perceived as violating fundamental human rights.
The campaign to decriminalize and declassify the offense in the African region has received the blessing of the African Court on Human and People's Rights when it held recently that countries are under obligation to repeal or amend vagrancy laws to conform with the Charter.
Oftentimes, you see that people who are rounded up on the streets and incarcerated, they don't have what it takes.
During the raids on black spots, we act on intelligence gathered, approach these black spots, arrest persons we find around there, and of course screen them.
The African Commission on Human and People's Rights had adopted the draft on decriminalization of petty offences, which state parties are to take measures for its enforcement. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Sports and more after this last break that beckons. See you in a jiffy.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Logo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Say them they rape about 35% of them girl picking, and even them women safe. Some of them they even die in the process. Emotional trauma uncle, they make some of them be like say they no did this one again, they don't go, but they still they live like ghosts. Some of them shame don't kuku make them go kill themselves. It no good though. This no be our culture. It no fit be the African way. Why we can't allow this kind of yet enjoy body with us so they loud where. If you know they fear law wey man put, you know they fear Baba God there. You self, you where they cover mouth so you see mini wana they happen. You know what here when the Oyibo talk say problem where they bring come out, they solve and sharply. Remember, person wey feel rape, if it's a key person, oh, if it be you, if it be your pikin, if it be person them where you love well. So make we learn the carry women then, like diamond where we be. No grief for rape, oh.
To sports now. In March last year, the National Sports Festival tagged Edo 2020 would have held after much preparations for the festival, whose vibes were so catching. But no thanks to the coronavirus that disrupted the sporting world and other facets of the economy. Now, with the new date of February 14th, barely 4 weeks away, what is the preparedness of the host state? Elizabeth Omoko from our Benin Network Center has that.
Preparations for the February 2021 National Sports Festival have gradually picked up. The various sub-committees, now known as project managers, that will see to the smooth running of the festival have been reconstituted after it was initially dissolved last year. I'm right here at the Sports Secretariat here in Government House. It is the NG room where activities for the National Sports Festival will be carried out, after which it will be relocated to the Samagbamuda Stadium few days to the festival. For the host state, it is retooling to ensure that the February 14 National Sports Festival is organized in response to the present COVID-19 reality, with a target to host a COVID-19 free exercise.
All the pillars have been given responsibility to go and start preparation on how the games will be successful in a pandemic era, because our preparation at the initial stage was without pandemic. Now, how are we going to host and will become a reference point even to the Olympics?
There are also recommendations to look into combat sports and reduce the number of athletes. This is as 5 traditional games are expected to be showcased alongside other conventional sporting activities.
If they approve it, we are also going to reduce the number by almost 500.
One major challenge being tackled by the host state is the renovated facilities at the University of Benin and the federal government guest college hostels, earlier mapped out for accommodation of athletes.
With the resumption of schools now, we are also already looking at alternatives, and we already charged the accommodation committee to search for alternative venues.
As more activities are expected to roll out in this coming week, it is of importance that the National Sports Festival will serve as a preliminary for the Tokyo Olympics slated for March this year. In Benin, Elizabeth Omako, NTA News.
Nigerian wrestlers target Tokyo Olympic qualification slots. Over to our sports desk for this and other stories.